Does your life ever feel like it's stuck on repeat? You wake up, check your phone before your feet even hit the floor, you rush through breakfast or skip it entirely, you move through your day reacting to whatever comes at you emails, messages, deadlines, other people's urgencies. You stay busy, incredibly busy, but at the end of the day, you collapse into bed wondering what you actually accomplished. And then you wake up tomorrow to do it all over again. It's exhausting, isn't it? This feeling of being constantly in motion, but never really moving forward. Like you're running on a treadmill that never stops, watching everyone else around you seem to have their lives together while you're just trying to keep up. Here's the truth that nobody talks about enough. The gap between where you are right now and where you want to be isn't about making one massive life altering decision. It's not about suddenly becoming a different person overnight. It's about the tiny, almost invisible choices you make every single day, the small habits you build or fail to build are quietly, consistently shaping your entire future. And I'm not here to give you some motivational speech that gets you hyped for 3 days before you fall back into old patterns. I'm not selling you a quick fix or a magic formula. What I'm sharing are habits grounded in actual psychology, backed by scientific research, and proven by real people who've used them to genuinely transform their lives from the ground up. So if you're ready to stop feeling stuck and start building a life that actually feels like yours, stay with me. Because by the end of this, you'll have a clear roadmap. Not theory, not fluff. Real actionable steps you can start implementing today. Habit 1. Start your day with intention, not reaction. Let me paint you a picture. Your alarm goes off. What's the first thing you do? If you're like most people, your hand immediately reaches for your phone. Within seconds, you're scrolling through notifications. Someone tagged you in something. There's a work email that couldn't wait. There's breaking news that seems urgent. Your friend posted about their amazing vacation. Someone you barely know is having a crisis in their story. And just like that, before you've even gotten out of bed, your brain is already hijacked. Your mental state is already shaped by everyone else's priorities, everyone else's emotions, everyone else's agenda. You've started your day in pure reaction mode, and that sets the tone for everything that follows. Here's what I want you to try instead, and I know it sounds simple, but simple doesn't mean easy. Protect the first 15 to 20 minutes of your day like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. When you wake up, leave your phone where it is. Don't touch it. Instead, drink a full glass of water. Your body is dehydrated after hours of sleep. Sit somewhere comfortable. It could be your bed, a chair, your couch, wherever you feel at ease. And ask yourself one question. What really matters for me today? Not what's on your calendar, not what other people expect from you. What actually matters to you. Maybe it's making progress on a project you care about. Maybe it's having a meaningful conversation with someone you love. Maybe it's simply taking care of your mental health after a rough week. This practice isn't about creating some elaborate Instagram worthy morning ritual with candles and meditation cushions. It's about reclaiming control of your attention before the world demands it from you. When you start the day reacting, you're always playing defense. When you start with intention, you're playing offense. You're choosing your focus instead of letting it be chosen for you. And here's what happens over time. Your days stop feeling like they're happening to you. They start feeling like you're actively creating them. That shift in perception changes everything. Habit 2, move your body to change your mental state. Let's talk about something most people misunderstand about exercise and movement. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need to commit to hour-long workouts that you'll quit after a week because they're unsustainable. What you need to understand is this fundamental truth: motion creates emotion. Your body and your mind are not separate entities. They're constantly influencing each other in ways you might not even notice. Have you ever been sitting at your desk feeling stuck on a problem, feeling frustrated or unmotivated, and then you stood up, walked to get water, or stepped outside for a moment, and suddenly the solution came to you? That's not coincidence. That's your body changing your mental state. So here's the habit I want you to build. Whenever you feel stuck, frustrated, anxious, or unmotivated, move your body for just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. That's it. Do 20 jumping jacks. Drop and do 10 push ups. Stretch your arms above your head and reach for the ceiling. Walk around your space. Dance to your favorite song. Shake out your entire body like you're trying to fling water off after getting caught in the rain. Why does this work so well? Because when your body is stagnant, stuck in the same position, your thoughts become stagnant too. Your energy drops, your creativity flatlines. But when you move, even briefly, you increase blood flow. More oxygen reaches your brain, your energy shifts, your perspective changes. And here's the beautiful part. Most of the time, those 2 minutes turn into 5 or 10 or 20. Because the hardest part of any workout, any movement practice, is just getting started. Once you're in motion, staying in motion becomes easy. The initial resistance disappears. Start treating movement as a tool for changing your state, not just as exercise for your body. It's one of the fastest, most reliable ways to shift from feeling stuck to feeling capable. Habit 3. Master single tasking in a distracted world. We live in a culture that celebrates multitasking. We're told that doing multiple things at once is impressive, efficient, the mark of a high performer. We wear our busyness like a badge of honor. I'm juggling 15 things right now sounds like success. But here's what the research actually shows: multitasking is a myth. Your brain cannot genuinely focus on multiple complex tasks simultaneously. What it does instead is rapidly switch between tasks, and every single switch costs you mental energy and reduces the quality of your work. Think about it this way: have you ever tried to write an important email while also listening to a podcast and keeping an eye on the chat conversation? You finish the email and realize you have to reread it 3 times because it doesn't make sense. You missed half of what the podcast said, and you have to ask your friend to repeat their question because you weren't really paying attention. That's not productivity. That's fragmented attention producing mediocre results in everything. Here's the habit that will genuinely transform your output. Every day, identify one important task, not the easiest task, not the most urgent task, the most important task, the one that, if you completed it well, would actually move the needle in your life or work. Give that task 1 full hour of completely undivided attention. Close every other tab on your computer. Put your phone in another room or at least flip it face down across the room. Turn off all notifications. If you work in a shared space, put on headphones. Even if you're not listening to anything, they signal to others that you're not available, and then work. Just work on that one thing for 1 hour. Don't check email. Don't respond to messages. Don't browse just for a second. Stay focused on the single task in front of you. This is called deep work, and it's becoming increasingly rare in our hyper-connected world, which means it's also becoming increasingly valuable. 1 hour of deep, focused work produces more meaningful results than 5 hours of distracted, scattered effort. Do this consistently, one focused hour every day, and within a few weeks, you'll notice something remarkable. You're accomplishing more while working less, you're producing higher quality work, and you're feeling less exhausted at the end of the day because you haven't been burning mental energy constantly switching between tasks. Habit 4: create a digital sunset every evening. Let me ask you something honestly. How many times have you told yourself you'll just quickly check your phone before bed, and then suddenly it's 2 hours later and you're deep into videos you don't even remember clicking on? Your devices, your phone, laptop, tablet, TV, are engineered to capture and hold your attention. That's literally what they're designed to do. Teams of engineers and psychologists work to make these devices as engaging and addictive as possible. You're not weak for struggling to put them down. You're human, and you're up against sophisticated technology designed to hijack your attention. But here's the problem: when you're connected to screens right up until the moment you try to sleep, you're sabotaging your rest. The blue light from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. The content you're consuming activates your brain. Whether it's exciting, stressful, emotional, or just mildly interesting, it's stimulation. And your brain interprets stimulation as a signal to stay alert, not wind down. So here's the habit: create what I call a digital sunset. Pick a time each evening. It could be 9 p.m., it could be 8:30, whatever works for your schedule. And at that time, all screens go away, not reduced, not "I'll just check one thing," completely away. What do you do instead during that final hour before bed? Read something physical: a book, a magazine, anything on paper. Have an actual face to face conversation with someone in your home. Journal about your day, plan tomorrow. Sit quietly and just think. Take a warm shower, do some gentle stretching. Give your brain permission to transition from the active, stimulated state of your day to the calm, restful state it needs for quality sleep. And here's what you'll notice: you'll fall asleep faster, you'll sleep more deeply, you'll wake up feeling more rested, your anxiety levels will decrease. And that hour before bed, which used to be wasted on mindless scrolling, becomes time you actually enjoy and value. Is it hard at first? Absolutely. The first few nights feel uncomfortable because we're so accustomed to constant digital stimulation, but push through that initial discomfort. What's waiting on the other side is genuinely life changing. Habit 5: weekly review and reset. Most people drift from week to week, month to month, never pausing to actually reflect on what's working and what isn't. They just keep moving, hoping things will somehow improve on their own, wondering why they feel stuck in the same patterns. Here's a habit that breaks that cycle. Once a week, schedule 30 minutes for a review and reset. I do mine on Sunday evenings, but pick whatever day works for you. During this time, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what worked well this week? What am I proud of? What small wins did I have, even if nobody else noticed them? Celebrating what's working reinforces those behaviors and reminds you that you are making progress, even when it doesn't feel dramatic. Second, what didn't work? Where did I struggle? What patterns do I want to change? This isn't about beating yourself up, it's about honest assessment so you can adjust course. Third, what are my top 3 priorities for the coming week? Not 10 things. Not everything on your endless to do list. 3 specific priorities that, if you accomplish them, would make the week feel successful. Then spend a few minutes organizing your physical space. Clear your desk, put things back where they belong. Reset your environment so you're starting the new week fresh, not carrying forward last week's clutter and chaos. This simple practice transforms you from someone who reacts to life into someone who actively designs it. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like a participant in your own story. You can see patterns you were blind to before. You can course correct before small problems become big ones. Consistency compounds. One weekly review might not seem like much, but 52 reviews over a year, that's 52 opportunities to learn, adjust, and improve. That level of intentional reflection separates people who drift from people who grow. Habit 6: curate your mental environment carefully. Here's a truth that makes people uncomfortable. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their attitudes, beliefs, energy, and habits gradually become yours, whether you consciously realize it or not. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, cynicism, gossip, and drama, that energy seeps into your thinking. It shapes how you see the world. It influences your own attitude and behavior. On the flip side, if you're around people who are growth minded, supportive, optimistic, and ambitious, that influence lifts you up. It expands what you believe is possible for yourself. Now, I'm not suggesting you cut everyone out of your life who isn't perfectly positive. That's unrealistic and frankly unkind. But I am suggesting you become intentional about actively seeking out positive influences to balance or outweigh negative ones. Think of it like this: for every draining or negative interaction you have, balance it with multiple positive, inspiring ones. Listen to podcasts that motivate and educate you. Read books by people you admire. Join online communities aligned with your goals and values. Have meaningful conversations with friends who support your growth. Follow creators who inspire rather than just entertain. Your environment, both physical and mental, is more powerful than your willpower. You can have all the motivation in the world, but if you're constantly surrounded by influences pulling you down or holding you back, you're fighting an uphill battle. Design your environment intentionally. Protect your mental space as carefully as you'd protect your physical home. Choose what you let in, because what you consume, whether it's media, conversations, or relationships, shapes who you become. Habit 7: practice gratitude strategically. Gratitude practices have become so common that they almost feel cliche at this point, but there's a reason they're everywhere. Work. The research on gratitude is overwhelming. It literally rewires your brain's neural pathways, training you to notice opportunities and positive experiences instead of only seeing problems and threats. Here's the key: most people practice gratitude ineffectively. They write generic statements like, "I'm grateful for my family," or "I'm grateful for my health." Those are nice sentiments, but they don't have much impact because they're too vague and abstract. Here's how to practice gratitude in a way that actually changes your brain. Every evening, write down 3 specific things you're grateful for, not big, generic categories, small, concrete moments. For example, the way the sunlight came through my window this morning and made my coffee look perfect. My coworker's joke that made me laugh during a stressful meeting. Successfully solving that problem I've been stuck on for days. The fact that I had clean water to drink whenever I wanted it today. The specificity matters because it trains your brain to actively notice these moments throughout your day. Over time, you'll find yourself naturally paying more attention to what's going well rather than only focusing on what's wrong or missing. This isn't toxic positivity. You're not ignoring real problems or pretending everything is perfect. You're simply balancing your brain's natural negativity bias, the evolutionary tendency to focus on threats and problems, with deliberate attention to what's working. After a few weeks of this practice, you'll notice your entire outlook shifting. You'll feel more content, more optimistic, more resilient when challenges arise, because you're training your brain to see the full picture, not just the negative parts. Habit 8: commit to learning every single day. Here's a simple math problem. If you spend just 20 minutes a day learning something new, that adds up to 140 minutes per week, about 600 minutes per month, over 7,000 minutes in a year. That's roughly 120 hours. Do you know how much you can learn in 120 hours of focused study? You can develop genuine competence in a new language, master a complex skill, read 30 substantial books, complete multiple online courses. The possibilities are enormous, but most people never accumulate these hours because they're waiting for large blocks of time that never materialize. They think, "I'll start learning when things slow down," or "I'll take that course when I have more time." Here's the reality: you'll never have more time. Time doesn't magically appear. You have to deliberately carve it out and protect it. So make a commitment: 20 minutes of learning every single day, no exceptions. It doesn't matter what you're learning. Read books that challenge you, take online courses in subjects you're curious about, watch educational videos, listen to lectures or informative podcasts, study a new skill. The content matters less than the consistency. Set a specific time for this. Maybe it's right after breakfast, maybe it's during your lunch break, maybe it's before bed as part of your digital sunset routine. Schedule it like you'd schedule any other important commitment. When you stop learning, you stop growing. When you commit to learning consistently, you become someone who's constantly evolving, adapting, and expanding. You develop skills others don't have. You gain knowledge that creates opportunities. You become more valuable in whatever field you're in. And here's the beautiful part: after a few months of daily learning, you'll look back and barely recognize your former self. The compound effect of consistent learning is staggering. Habit 9: choose imperfect action over perfect planning. Let me tell you what perfectionism really is. It's fear dressed up as high standards. It's the voice in your head that says you need to wait for the right moment, the perfect plan, the complete skill set, the ideal circumstances before you can start. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear: you'll never feel completely ready. You'll never have all the answers figured out. You'll never eliminate all the risks. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The perfect plan is an illusion. The ideal circumstances are a fantasy. And while you're waiting for all these things to align, life is passing you by. Opportunities are disappearing. Time is moving forward whether you act or not. Action creates clarity. When you do something, even imperfectly, even awkwardly, even with uncertainty, you learn. You get feedback. You discover what works and what doesn't. You build confidence through experience, not through thinking about experience. Think about learning to drive. You can read every book about driving. You can watch hundreds of videos. You can study the mechanics of how cars work. But none of that actually teaches you to drive. You only learn by getting in the car, starting the engine, and moving, making mistakes, correcting them, and gradually improving. Everything in life works this way. You don't become a better writer by planning to write. You become better by writing badly, then writing less badly, then writing okay, then writing well. You don't become a better speaker by avoiding public speaking until you're ready. You become better by speaking poorly, then speaking adequately, then speaking confidently. So here's the habit: when you have an idea, when you want to make a change, when you see an opportunity, act within 72 hours. Don't spend weeks or months in preparation paralysis. Start before you're ready. Send the email you've been overthinking. Post the content you've been perfecting forever. Start the project you've been planning. Have the difficult conversation. Make the change you've been considering. You'll figure it out as you go. Each step forward builds confidence for the next step. And looking back 6 months from now, you'll be amazed at how much progress you made once you stopped waiting for permission to begin. The compound effect changes everything. These 9 habits won't transform your life overnight. You won't wake up tomorrow as a completely different person with all your problems solved. That's not how real change works. But if you implement these consistently, if you show up for yourself day after day, week after week, the compound effect is absolutely incredible. Small changes repeated over time create massive transformation. 1 year from now, you'll either wish you had started today or you'll be grateful that you did. So here's my question for you: which one of these habits resonates most? Which one are you going to start with today? Not tomorrow, not next week, but today? Because the person you're becoming is shaped by what you do right now in this moment. And that's the most powerful realization of all. Your future isn't determined by your circumstances or your past, it's determined by the habits you choose to build starting today.